idées avec Interface.
10h midi, Interface avec Méling.
Bonjour et bienvenue sur RM1 pour cette émission spéciale d'Interface Culture Vive. Il est 11h15, je suis Méling Balou. Ce matin, nous consacrons notre antenne à un moment crucial dans la vie de milieu de Jeanne Maurice. Choisir quelle université correspond vraiment à vos aspirations, à votre projet de vie. Ces questions résonnent dans les foyers mauriciens chaque année à l'approche de la fin du secondaire et trouver les bonnes réponses n'est pas simple quand on sait qu'on choisit bien plus qu'un diplôme, on choisit un environnement, une culture universitaire, un pays d'accueil, un investissement financier conséquent et surtout, on pose les premières pierres de son avenir professionnel. Pour nous aider à naviguer dans cette décision importante, il y a l'OVEC, Overseas Education Center, qui organise son Education Fair annuel, un salon où vous pourrez rencontrer directement les représentants de prestigieuses universités canadiennes, australiennes. Ici, à ce salon, nous allons explorer ensemble ce que chaque institution peut offrir aux étudiants mauriciens. Ça va se passer à Bagatelle, alors si vous êtes étudiant en train de préparer votre avenir, si vous êtes parent en train de nous écouter, en train d'accompagner votre enfant dans ce choix crucial, cette émission est pour vous. Restez avec nous. Pour commencer, j'accueille avec le plus grand des plaisirs la directrice de l'Overseas Education Center, Doris Chitson. Bonjour Doris.
Bonjour, salut.
Comment ça va?
Très bien, en forme, surtout que on est tout prêt, les résultats arrivent demain, donc notre salon c'est tout juste après à 1h au Flying de 2 à Bagatelle.
À Bagatelle.
Jusqu'à 6h de l'après-midi.
Effectivement, merci pour ces informations en début d'émission, Madame Chitson. Vous voyez passer des centaines de familles chaque année. Alors, qu'est-ce qui a changé dans les attentes des étudiants mauriciens ces dernières années? Est-ce qu'on observe des tendances nouvelles?
C'est que la vie est devenue chère partout, mais ce qui est intéressant, toutes ces universités qui arrivent, ils se rendent compte, ils offrent beaucoup de bourses, beaucoup de discounts, etc. Donc ça, c'est très intéressant.
Beaucoup d'offres promotionnelles.
Oui, voilà.
Et aussi, il y a une tension intéressante dans le choix d'une université à l'étranger. D'un côté, c'est un investissement financier considérable, c'est cher pour les familles mauriciennes. Et de l'autre, il y a parfois une sorte de prestige social, je dois le dire, social en tout cas, attaché aux études à l'étranger. Alors, comment vous aidez les familles à naviguer, à explorer ces deux dimensions, la dimension financière très concrète et la dimension parfois plus symbolique?
Oui, alors d'abord, on doit voir les parents parce que les étudiants, ils rêvent d'aller à Hollywood, en Angleterre ou ailleurs. Alors nous, on regarde que font les parents, qu'est-ce qu'ils peuvent, quel est leur budget. Et donc, on peut leur proposer des options similaires. Par exemple, si on veut aller à Nottingham University, qui est un top 15 university in England, on leur dit, vous pouvez aller en Malaisie, vous pouvez aller en Chine, où le cost of living, le coût de la vie est moins cher. Alors, donc, ce qui est intéressant, les étudiants, ils peuvent commencer en Asie, et puis ils continuent, ils terminent en Australie, en Angleterre ou ailleurs. D'ailleurs, aujourd'hui, nous avons aussi l'université de Monash en Australie. Enfin, c'est une branche qu'ils ont en Malaisie.
D'accord.
Et là, on a l'université de Southampton qui est là. Et donc, c'est une université top 10 en Angleterre. Donc, ils peuvent commencer en Malaisie et puis terminer en Angleterre. Il y a tout un choix. Oui. Et aussi, ce que on regarde d'abord l'étudiant, qu'est-ce qu'il veut faire. Parce que
ses aspirations, ses envies.
Voilà. Les parents, toujours, ils essayent de leur dire, il faut être médecin, il faut être avocat. Alors, il y a pléthore de tout ça à Maurice, mais moi, je dis, mais il faut savoir ce que votre enfant aime, quelle est son aspiration à lui. Alors, on essaye de persuader aussi le parent de respecter un peu ce que l'enfant aime.
Le choix de l'enfant qui est primordial. Cette année, vous avez sélectionné plusieurs universités comme chaque année. Alors, comment s'opère cette sélection, Madame Chitson? Est-ce que ce sont les universités qui vous approchent ou est-ce que c'est vous qui allez les chercher selon certains critères? Comment ça se passe?
C'est les deux côtés, quoi. Parce que souvent, je vais en conférence rencontrer ces universités. Aussi, ils viennent à Maurice, ils sollicitent notre aide pour aider les étudiants parce que les parents ont très confiance parce qu'on fait toutes les procédures gratuitement pour ces étudiants-là. On fait l'application, on fait le
Vous
visa.
les accompagnez.
Voilà, on les accompagne.
Du début à la fin.
Voilà, justement. On
Et
fait du babysitting, comme on dit. Là.
Bien plus que ça. On remarque une représentation forte aussi du Canada cette année, 5 universités canadiennes. Est-ce que le Canada est devenu la destination privilégiée des étudiants mauriciens?
Oui, enfin, plus ou moins, parce que le Canada, c'est le seul pays au monde qui va vous donner 3 ans de permis de travail et presque automatiquement et le permanent residence. Enfin, je veux dire qu'il vous donne la possibilité de travailler, ce qu'on appelle le co-op education, c'est-à-dire un semestre vous allez à l'école, un semestre vous travaillez, donc vous avez ce work experience, your work ready, c'est ce qu'ils veulent, de la main-d'œuvre qualifiée.
Et vous avez aussi des institutions moins connues du grand public mauricien, par exemple, là je pense, elle n'est pas là aujourd'hui la représentante, mais à Grenfell Campus à Terre-Neuve. Est-ce que vous encouragez parfois les étudiants à regarder au-delà des grandes marques universitaires?
Oui, bien sûr, il y a ce qu'on appelle le Atlantic Canada. Alors là-bas, il y a ce qu'on appelle le Provincial Nominee Programme. Alors le gouvernement canadien veut désenclaver les grands centres comme Toronto et Vancouver, les envoyer, je veux dire, surtout Atlantic Canada, on appelle ça Nova Scotia, toute la région.
Délocaliser peut-être?
Oui, vous les délocaliser. Alors non seulement après les études, vous avez 3 ans de permis de travail, mais aussitôt vous trouvez un boulot, tout de suite, vous avez votre permanent residence. Yeah.
Et un dernier conseil pour les familles qui nous écoutent, qui viendront à Bagatelle, au Flying Dodo à Bagatelle, comment préparer sa visite pour qu'elle soit vraiment productive?
Oui, alors, quand ils arrivent, ils vont faire le tour, voir tous les représentants, comparer les prix. Et surtout, ils ont leurs résultats, donc les universités peuvent assess, comme on dit en anglais, directement si l'enfant peut avoir une place. Yeah.
Avant de vous laisser partir et d'attaquer l'interview avec nos représentants d'université, aujourd'hui, peut-être rappeler les dates de ce salon?
Alors, donc, c'est demain, le 10, après les résultats, 1h à 6h de l'après-midi. Et vendredi aussi, le vendredi 13, de 10h à 6h.
J'espère que ça va porter chance à nos étudiants, vendredi 13.
Oui, surtout.
Le 10 et le 13 au Flying Dodo à Bagatelle. Merci beaucoup, Madame Chitson, d'avoir été des nôtres. Nous allons maintenant, chers auditeurs, recevoir un par un les représentants universitaires. Alors, je vais switcher vers l'anglais cette fois-ci. We have Lisa Kachulak-Papay that joins us now. Lisa, you're the Associate Registrar and Director of Student Recruitment at the University of Manitoba. Welcome to Interfaces.
Oh, thank you for having me again.
It's great to see you back in Mauritius.
Oh, love
You've
coming
not
here.
changed a bit. So how do you find our new studio?
Oh, it's gorgeous. I mean, the colors are great. It's so great to be here. And I'm really excited to talk to all of your listeners about Canadian education.
Amazing. We can't wait for that as well. As Associate Registrar and Director of Student Recruitment, you obviously quite a broad portfolio. You focus particularly on international student recruitment, including regions like Central Asia and Turkey. So what draws students from such diverse regions to Manitoba?
Well, Manitoba is just a fantastic place to study. And I think one of the things that really draws a lot of students is that we have a really high quality of education in Canada. University of Manitoba in particular is part of Canada's U15 research universities. So those are your top research universities in Canada, similar to people maybe, recognizing the Ivy Leagues and the Russell Group. So that's Canada's version. So we're very proud of that. And I mean, ultimately, we have a lot of student choice. And at the end of the day, we do have one of Canada's most affordable tuitions. So you're getting that extremely high quality for an affordable price as well. So, it really does draw students from around the world. And when word gets out, we're really happy and pleased to welcome everybody.
The University of Manitoba, founded in 1877, it's Western Canada's first university. But for Mauritian listeners who might not know Winnipeg, can you paint us a picture? What's the city like and how does that shape the student experience?
Oh, that's a great question. I'm born and raised in Winnipeg, so I can speak for...
Oh, great. Amazing.
I've lived here all my life, so I can be really honest about what it's like because I've really, spent a lot of time there, obviously. It's a great city. We're a mid-sized city in Canada. We have about 800,000 people, so it's not small, but it's big enough that it has everything that a student could want. Major sports teams, big concerts coming through, and certainly it's a very livable city. And one of the things that's also a very attractive part about living in Winnipeg and Manitoba is that we also have a provincial nominee program in our province that does make it a little bit easier to become a permanent resident. And in addition to that, it is a little bit more affordable to live in Winnipeg than it is in a big city. Obviously, big cities are great. Canada's super diverse, and not every city is right for every student, but certainly Winnipeg has a lot to offer at an affordable price.
It sounds pretty great indeed, but let's talk about that winter because it's quite something, isn't it? Winnipeg is also famously one of the coldest cities in the world. As someone who oversees student recruitment, how do you prepare Mauritian students, tropical students for that shock? And more importantly, how do they actually cope once they're there?
You know, that's such a great question. I get that all the time. You know, students have to remember we're a winter country. We are prepared for the cold. And it doesn't go from plus 28 in our summer to minus 20 overnight. It's a gradual progression, and students really get used to the winter. As long as you dress appropriately, life doesn't end. You know, we have some really great things that you just can't experience in Mauritius. If you want to ice skate on a river, we have over 7 kilometers of ice skating in the winter. We have winter festivals. Life doesn't stop because of the winter. And the university in particular, we have underground tunnels that are heated. All the rooms are heated. This t-shirt I'm wearing today, you can wear in the winter inside, and the students can take those underground tunnels to their classrooms. So there's nothing to fear. It's actually a really fun and exciting experience, but don't worry, you're going to get warm weather too. So we have all 4 seasons.
Amazing. Manitoba has something quite unique, the Bannatyne Campus Downtown, dedicated to health sciences. You're particularly strong in medicine, pharmacy, dentistry, but these are notoriously competitive programs. From a recruitment and admissions perspective now, what are the realistic chances for an international student to get into medicine at Manitoba?
I'll be honest with you, medicine in Canada is very challenging for an international student. In fact, most universities in Canada are closed to international students for the medical programs. Okay. So that's one thing to consider. Obviously, the wonderful thing about coming to an event like OVAC is if you have that niche program and maybe one country doesn't offer it, there's other countries there to sort of give that offering to students as well. Certainly, you know, in Canada, you do need a degree before you can go into medicine. So we have had international students that do their degree first, get their permanent residence, and then apply to medicine. That's obviously a little bit of a long road, but it can be done. We have international students do that. But if you are a high school student wanting to go into medicine directly from high school, then Canada is maybe not the right choice for you.
And let's talk now about the post-graduation work permits in Canada.
Yes.
Can you explain how those work and what Manitoba offers in terms of immigration pathways?
Yes, absolutely. So the wonderful thing is that all university programs in Canada are eligible for the postgraduate work permit. So students that go to any of our public institutions, you can study anything you want, and after you graduate, you are eligible to apply for that postgraduate work permit that allows you to work in Canada for up to 3 years.
Amazing.
Which is fantastic. Within those 3 years, if you get a permanent job, you can apply for that permanent residency after a year. In some provinces like Manitoba, we have our provincial nominee program that does allow the student to apply with a permanent job for their permanent residence after 6 months. So, you know, some of the smaller population areas in Canada, because we are a humongous country, as you all know, and because there is, you know, a negative population growth in Canada if we do not have immigration, and specifically in some of our smaller areas, there are some incentives to go there. So it's something to consider for those listeners that are really interested in staying in Canada after graduation.
And one final question for you, Lisa. Tuition at Manitoba is more affordable than Toronto, Vancouver. That's what I read online.
Yes.
From your admissions perspective, can you give us a realistic picture of total cost for an international student?
Yes, I could certainly speak from my standpoint. For a student coming to the University of Manitoba, it will range between about 20 to 30,000 Canadian dollars, depending on the program. Living expenses will range anywhere from about $10,000 to $17,000. So that's, of course, Canadian dollars. I want to really emphasize that because it is quite a bit lower, about 35% lower than the US dollar. So that's another factor to consider, that the Canadian dollar compared to the US dollar is certainly a lot less. So I think it's really realistic, you know, if you're looking at a budget of, about $35,000 to $40,000, you can easily do that in Manitoba. Plus, we do, of course, offer scholarships and some financial aid as well, which, you know, come to OVAC, come and talk to me. I can give you all of that information, and I'm happy to provide students with, all of the costing and what is realistic for them.
Thank you so much, Liz. That was wonderful to have you on our show today. We now have Dr. Safwan from the University of Southampton, Malaysia. Dr. Safwan, how are you?
Hi, good. Yeah, I'm good.
It's great to have you here. So you're an assistant professor there. Welcome for the first time to Interfaces.
Yep.
Same question as to Lisa. So how do you find Mauritius and our studio?
Well, weirdly enough, kind of like feels like home. Well, there's a lot
really?
of yeah. I mean, it's my first time in Mauritius. Never been in African continent before, but weirdly enough, it is quite similar to what you'll get in Malaysia.
What you're used to in general.
Well, yeah. I mean, I just arrived yesterday, so there's still a lot more to explore, But so far, I mean, everything's been great. In terms of the ethnic, there's a lot of Chinese as well, a lot of Indians, and a lot of different races. So yeah.
That's amazing. It's a home away from home. So, Dr. Safwan, your background is fascinating, I must say. You spent 11 years in Japan. You did your master's and PhD in electrical engineering and information science at Osaka Prefecture University, and you worked extensively in the Japanese tech industry. So, what brought you from Japan to Malaysia to Southampton's campus there?
Oh, well, first thing is, you did your research well. Yes. I actually just moved back to Malaysia 2 years ago. The reason why I moved back is actually simple, because I've been in the industry quite long. I think it's like 7 or 8 years. Most of what I did was like into the robotic scene. So I developed AI solutions for robots. That's basically of what I did for several different startups in Japan, in Tokyo specifically. And then I found, I come from the academic as well, when I graduate from degree, and then when I go to the tech, I interview a lot of people as well, when I hire engineers. And I found like a lot of them don't even know or realize like things have changed a lot.
Still evolving.
Exactly. So in terms of technology, especially in computer science,
yes.
3 to 6 months old is considered quite obsolete. So, you have to do a lot of research and do a lot of upskilling. And then when you get when you get people that you want to hire, and you realize like there's a lot of stuff that they still don't know. They're like way back, like 1 or 2 years back. So then I thought like I might just take a chance to just move to academia.
Yes.
And then just want to, there's a lot of gaps in between the academia and also the industry. So I just want to close that gap. I can't do it perfectly, to be honest, right? But if I can make that a bit of difference, then that's why I actually moved back. So one of my role is actually, while I'm academic, I do teach,
yes.
right? I do teach AI, machine learning, and all of that. But the other role that I'm heavily responsible is in stuff like this. Like I try to, close the bridge, like try to explain to students, like even for my current students right now in class, I don't just teach.
Yes.
Theory, I'm educating them as well. So I always tell them like, guys, you need to know this. You need to know this technology. This is obsolete. So no, you need to know this. So this is where we keep evolving. We do research and we embed that in our teaching as well.
Exactly. So that's the kind of cutting edge research that translates into what you teach to your students. You've also collaborated with Toshiba and the Japan Patent Office, and you developed an automated personalized cooking robot that got national media attention in Japan. Can you tell us more about this?
Well, yes. So there are several robots that I've worked on. I think it's like 2 or 3 robots. It took quite a while. Like on average, it took us like 8 months to develop one. It's a very small team, but it involves a lot of effort. So we're a small startup, but right now it's expanding. The company, as I know, I'm very close to the CEO, and we still do a lot of collaboration.
Okay.
So like when I was in University of Southampton, when I just got hired, so one of the first initiatives that I did was I organized a trip to Japan for students from University of Southampton, Malaysia. So we went to Tokyo. And then that's where I use whatever networks that I have to go into the lab, which usually was, off limits to universities. They don't accept at all. I was there, so I know it firsthand. So, but for me, they gave, some exceptions. So we were in the lab, so we saw some amazing things. I mean, it was normal for me, but for the students, it was amazing.
Exactly, an amazing experience for them.
Exactly.
Just listening to you sounds fascinating.
Yeah.
You're so lucky. Now, the university itself, the University of Southampton, Malaysia. So this is a Russell Group British University with a branch campus in Iskandar. I want to understand the quality assurance clearly. As a faculty member, can you assure us this is genuinely a Southampton degree with the same academic standards as the UK campus?
Oh, yeah. Good question. So whatever we do, we mirror exactly 1-to-1 with the UK. So we can't just simply, take things off into our own hands. So we have to get approval from the UK. And when you graduate, it's exactly as if like you're in the UK. Now, the best part is that, similar to some of the, UK universities in Malaysia. So you'll get the exact same thing, right? But you will get a different experience in terms of culture because you'll be based in Malaysia, right? But the cost is where it makes a lot of difference. So you'll be spending 3 times more if you were in the UK. So you'll be saving a lot there. And plus, there's also an option, depending on which program that you're actually going into. That's an optional like 1+2, 2+2. So you can have that option to go to the UK if you want to.
And talking about what programs are actually offered at the Malaysia campus?
Yes. So we have 3 different schools. So that's business, computer science, and engineering.
Okay.
Yeah. So
engineering programs, computer science, business programs, so specifics on what's available. Your expertise, like you mentioned earlier, is in computer vision, 3D also reconstruction, according to my research online. Robotics. Are students at the Malaysia campus able to work with you on research projects, apart from what you mentioned earlier about you taking them to Japan?
Yeah. So they're free to do whatever they want, but most of them know my profile, and usually students that come to me would be usually interested into computer vision. And I'm not only in computer vision, but basically I'm generally into developing AI solutions for whatever reasons it may be. So students, final year project students that are under me, so usually they will develop some awesome stuff that it doesn't end there. So as researchers, it's not only me. I'm talking on behalf of all of the academics in University of Southampton, Malaysia, and also in our parent company as well, parent campus as well. We don't just end there. Usually we will just push the students to publish into journals and conferences. So imagine degree students before they even get hired by the next company, they would already have one publication already published in a very good journal or conference. So that makes a lot of difference for their career, I believe.
And can students split their degree, start in Malaysia and finish in Southampton, UK?
Yes, they can, depending on the program. So we do have, for engineering, we do have like 2+2, which means, if I have to be honest, so you're going to do like 2 years in Malaysia, and then you'll do 2 years in the UK. For engineering, so you'll end up having not only a degree, but a master's. So you have to do 1 year of master's. So at the end of the 4th year, so you have a master's in engineering.
So you have the possibility to be part of exchange programs.
Yes, exactly. For computer science, it's a bit different, right? So there is, to be honest, there is a quota, right? But there is always a number of students going there. But if you want to be the one that is selected to be going to the UK, you have to be very top 5, top 7. It depends. It changes every single year. But as long as you do well, then you have your chances to go. But some people choose to, they get an offer, but they choose not to go because of the cost. They prefer to be here, to be in Malaysia. But you have that flexibility. It's optional for computer science.
Oh, it all depends on your performance, so that's a great source of motivation for students, isn't it, dear guest? Malaysia is also quite close to Mauritius compared to the UK. You mentioned that earlier, a home away from home, about 6 hours versus 12. For Mauritian students listening to us right now, or parents, is there a cultural advantage? Both countries are multicultural, multilingual, and what else?
What else? I'm not so sure. But one thing that I think they will be familiar is the weather. Right, we in Malaysia we have sometimes it can be nasty in certain months, but mostly it's going to be about this weather.
The tropical climate.
Exactly. But there will be months in like December up until March, if I believe. It will be there's a lot of rain. But if you don't mind that, then the rest will just be sunny. There's a bit of sunny and rainy, and that's it. You don't have winter and autumn. So I think. It's a perfect climate to live in. It's peaceful and quiet, and you can do your stuff. The city itself is vibrant in Johor. So the very good thing is that we are very close by to Singapore. If you were to
travel.
If you were to travel, you can. A lot of students do that. You can do a day trip. So like how close we are, let me explain, is if you factor out the congestion, you can just drive. It's just like a 20 minutes drive away to Singapore. And you find yourself in Singapore in 20 minutes. But if I have to be honest, congestion is there. If you know the right timing, then you can beat the congestion.
That's one of many arguments to join your university, but what would be the one key argument to join your university?
All right. So what I can say is that the special thing about University of Southampton, Malaysia is this. That there's a lot of programs that are quite similar, but the way how we do things at University of Southampton, Malaysia, the way we're different is that we always update our content. The things that we do, they're not stagnant. We always update it. Like even going to the next semester, if we're teaching the same stuff, it will never be the same stuff. There's always something new, especially for computer science. Exactly. So we do a lot of research as well for my colleagues as well. I'm going to say this. So we do a lot of research, and then we embed those research in our contents. And we don't only do that. There's a lot of case studies that we find. Like for example, the recent where there's 10 billion of dollars being wiped out from the that. It involves a lot of things when it comes to computer science, so that we tie it down to case studies. So that's where that's how we actually educate our students to actually reflect the real world.
You are the heart of innovation. Thank you so much, Dr. Safwan, for being on the show this morning. I wish you the best of luck with your future ventures. So now we have Leah Odata, regular of the show. Hello, Leah.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be back.
To be back, to have you back as well, and I'm so glad to have you. So you're from Carleton University. Leah, since we last spoke, what's been the biggest change at Carleton?
Well, actually, I'm excited to say Carleton has actually created a bunch of new programs that are very much high in demand. And one of the goals that we have is we want to solve real world problems. So we've introduced programs like cybersecurity, Bachelor of Cybersecurity, which is a very big in-demand program right now in the sector of the world as we become more tech innovative. We've also introduced a program in Bachelor of Science in Nursing and Prescribing.
Okay.
So for students who would love to do medicine in Canada, our nursing program is a great opportunity to be able to do that. And it does offer a couple of additional skills that in addition to just nursing students, nurses and students are able to prescribe certain ailments or illnesses. So it's a very great program that's very high in demand in Canada and offers great opportunities.
That's amazing. So we've talked before about Carleton's location in Ottawa and those extraordinary government connections. Have you seen any new partnership opportunities open up since, apart from what you just mentioned?
Well, Carleton's always striving to ensure that our students have access to some of the world leaders in the world. So our location does really enhance that.
Yeah.
We have direct partnerships with companies like Shopify, which is a very big tech company around the world. So our students are actually able to work for Shopify, and Shopify does offer them a generous scholarship to be able to ensure that students are able to not only successfully thrive in that environment, but not have to worry about the cost that goes into programs like that. So that's a really great partnership that Carleton is one of the few universities to be able to partner with Shopify.
And how are your graduates doing in this current geopolitical climate?
Well, we definitely emphasize hands-on work experience because we want to ensure that when our students graduate, they are going to be successful in the workplace. And that's very much reflected in the different faculty statistics for post-graduation employment. So, for example, our business program, it has a very high employability rating because of our employability passport. So that's an opportunity for students to build skills throughout the entire degree to ensure when they graduate, we have the skills employers want to see. And so that's reflected with a percentage of about 92% in employability ratings. And that goes to our engineering faculty as well.
We talked about earlier on in the previous show about Carleton's journalism and communication programs. Have you seen shifts in what students are interested in? Is everyone going into digital media now, or are traditional journalism skills still valued?
Well, we still definitely value the traditional, but we recognize the world is constantly changing and evolving. So you'll notice that even in our classes, we actually recently renamed our communication and media studies program to reflect the different changes that are happening. Because now we notice there's a very huge increase in, for example, podcasts coming out. So we've definitely taken strides to ensure that the courses that we're offering our students meet the current demands of the current climate. So our courses are constantly evolving to be able to kind of help ensure that our students are well prepared for those sectors. And of course, we still maintain our traditional because that is still a huge factor, but we are also incorporating different avenues of media. And of course, AI is becoming a huge part of that as well.
Definitely, so like Dr. Safwan just mentioned earlier on, Canadian immigration policy has shifted quite a bit recently. Study permit caps, PGWP changes. How has that affected interest in Carleton?
Well, I always want to reflect those changes were made in the best interest of the students, and I hope students understand that. Is that we want to ensure that students who are serious about coming to study in Canada, they have the opportunity to be able to do that, and the government wants to ensure when they get there, they have the support services and the resources to be able to thrive in Canada. So all of the changes that were recently made were for the benefit of the students. I know there's been a lot of miscommunication around that, but one thing to ensure is that when students come there, they have the space, they have the resources.
And the support needed.
Exactly.
And what's one thing you wish you could tell every Mauritian family considering Carleton that doesn't fit in the brochures?
Well, I think that one thing I would definitely say is that Carleton is a very warm, welcoming environment that is a really great place for students to be able to come and thrive, not just academically, but even outside of the classroom. I always reference myself as an example. I was a very shy student when I first came to Carleton, but I think the environment, the classes, the support, it really offered me a great environment to be able to not only just step out of my comfort zone, but also just discover who I am. And we hope that we can give that to the students from Mauritius.
Discover your true identity.
Exactly.
What would be your key argument why should a student join your university rather than go for another one?
Well, not the universities in Canada are excellent. So wherever students do go, I know they'll definitely get a quality education. But one thing that sets Carleton apart is our location, our culture, and our community. It's unlike any other. So we've been ranked consistently in the top 3 for student satisfaction. And it just speaks to the culture that is available at Carleton and the community that we foster.
Thank you, Leah. It was lovely to have you on the show once again, and hopefully we'll be doing another show anytime soon.
Thank you for having me. I love the new studio.
Thank you so much. It's vibrant, and I hope that our next guest loves the new studio as well. It's Dr. Shabir Amirali from the University of Guelph. Dr. Amirali, welcome to Interfaces.
Thank you so much. It's a great opportunity for me to talk to you.
It's great to have you. It's your first time here in our studio on my show. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling a little bit like, what am I going to answer? Am I going to listen to
You're
music?
going to do great. The music is coming up just after our show. But Dr. Amirali, you manage international recruitment partnerships for the University of Guelph, covering most regions of the world. Can you tell us exactly more about your role?
I have a big team. So I manage the team for global recruitment and partnership and working with undergraduate and graduate recruitment. We support the students as well. So my team is big and we work across the university with various departments to ensure international students get full support.
Let's talk about the University of Guelph itself. It consistently ranks first in Canada for student experience and student satisfaction in various surveys, according to my research online. That's a very specific kind of excellence, not research output, not international reputation, but student experience. So what creates that at Guelph?
I think Guelph is a community. When students comes in, the first thing they talk about is like, I feel a family here. So that's what the parents are looking for. What does a family means? Satisfaction, safety. They can just settle down. When you go back home in the evening, and what do you feel? I'm safe. I think that's what the students feel like when they go back, and that's what University of Guelph stands apart and saying that when you go back and when you see you have a huge auditorium, you have a huge campus, you have a huge athletic center, so I can do everything and go back to my room and it's my family together.
It's a home away from home.
Absolutely.
Guelph is genuinely distinctive in certain fields. Your Ontario Veterinary College is the oldest veterinary college in Canada and one of the best in North America. For students interested in veterinary medicine, what should they know about pathways and admission requirements?
That's a wonderful question. I would say, yes, absolutely. We are 150 years old institution and well known for many programs, engineering and businesses and things. Veterinary stands alone because we are one of the top school for doctor of veterinary programs. We are in the top 10 in the whole world. So what happens is like you have to do a pre-vet before going into veterinary program. You have to complete 4 years. There is an opportunity for students when they study 2 years of bachelor's degree, they would be eligible to apply as well. If you stand alone and if you're a top student and you say I have a good GPA, I fulfill the requirements, and there's an opportunity that they can just cut short 2 years and they'd be eligible to apply. But most of the students choose like, oh, I love my program, I'm going to stay because the animal hospital is one of the best. Our animal museum, they'll love that.
And for Mauritian students specifically, what programs tend to attract them and what should they know about Guelph before applying?
Wonderful. I was meeting a couple of students yesterday and they say like, oh, my family studies there, my friends are studying there. And for us, that's really important. One of the main thing the students always choose for Mauritius is like engineering, the STEM based, like engineering, biological sciences. And then if they don't choose the next big program, they always go for is like business programs. And then they think about humanities. That's how the pathways, as I've seen more and more Mauritian students coming from a so long time to Mauritius, I feel they always think about, STEM programs more. Now I've seen a shift as well as now thinking about, can I do law, pre-law in a humanities program as well?
And what would be your last message to the students and parents listening to us today?
I would say it's a beginning. I would not say a last message. I would say it's a beginning for the students and parents.
Love it.
I would say just ask questions. The best thing is, as I was listening to you, to my previous colleague from another university from Canada, there are lots of misunderstanding, perceptions. Perceptions are the biggest killer for your dreams. So I would always encourage them. We are here. So many institutions are here. Come and personally sit with them, ask questions. We are all like family to you. You have to trust us to give us right information. And when you come back to the campus, we are the people who are going to meet and say, hey, you asked me, you answered this question. Where do I find this? I think most of us are here, come with so much of integrity and transparency and honesty. We wanted to share what our institution offers to each one of the Mauritian students, because we don't want students, we want families come and settle down in University of Guelph. That's what we want.
That's beautifully said. Thank you, Dr. Amirali, for saying this on our show today. Hopefully we'll get the chance to interview you again soon before you leave.
Thank you.
Now let's welcome Luis Aguilar from EU Business School. Luis, hello.
Hello, how are you? Thank you for having me here.
It's great. So you're the Business Development Manager for Africa at the Munich campus. How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. Great to be in Mauritius. Thanks.
As Business Development Manager for Africa, you're focused on building relationships between this school and the African continent. Mauritius is part of your region, so what makes EU Business School attractive to African students specifically?
Great, thank you for that question. Indeed, EU Business School is one of the top business schools in Europe. We're based in Germany, but we also have other two campuses in Geneva, Switzerland, and Barcelona, Spain. So I think one of the things that is really attractive for Mauritian students is that they get to study many different specializations in business, but also in any of these three campuses. And what Mauritian students are actually attracted to it is that they can also transfer. So I don't know, if they are doing a bachelor's for 3 years, they can always start in Munich, Germany, but they can transfer for the second year to Barcelona, Spain, or finish in Geneva, Switzerland. And we also have a digital campus.
So you offered dual degrees as well with the University of Derby.
That's correct, exactly. So
right?
The vast majority of our programs are double degrees, and they come also with the University of
So
Derby.
what exactly does the student graduate with at the end?
Right, exactly, perfect. So what they do is that they can choose any of our bachelors. Let's say a popular program here is business finance. So when they want to do a business finance program, they will always finish with a bachelor with honors in management from the University of Derby.
Your student body is famously international, over 100 nationalities. Does that diversity actually translate into better business education, or is it just a marketing point?
No, actually, diversity is extremely important when we speak about business. Nowadays, companies, startups, the business community is completely globalized, and we will see that companies that were traditionally from one country, they have now a lot of international hires. I come from Munich, Germany, so let's speak about companies like Siemens or Allianz. Now they are hiring in English, and they have a working body for people that come from the 5 continents. So it's very important to have this international perspective, and that's why we are also based in Europe, so that students have
That kind of experience. So
correct.
what's one thing you wish more African families understood about European business education before they make their choice? We're talking about Mauritian families specifically today.
Of course. So for Mauritian families, we spoke about obviously like the familiar size. At the end of the day, as a business school, we are way smaller than a traditional and conventional university. So it's more personalized, and also the hands-on learning experience. At the end of the day, when the students graduate from your business school, they will have done internships. They will have learned with project-based courses or business cases. So they will finish with this experience that they make them very, attractive also to different companies, and we have a high employability rate. And at the end, just the experience of living in Europe or even in these 3 cities, so that you get a full European experience. And even why not? Even if we are fully taught in English, learning a new language. So for Mauritian students who are already bilingual, that will be amazing. Why
It's
not learning German?
definitely a plus and a must. Thank you so much, Luis.
Thank
I
you.
wish we could
Merci.
have continued our conversation, but I have to get going with my next guest, Alexandra Waitman from Curtin University in Perth. Is that correct?
Yes. Thank
How
you.
are you doing?
I'm great. Thanks. Thanks for having me.
It's great. So, Alexandra, you're international higher education specialist focusing on Africa and the Middle East. Welcome to Interfaces.
Thank you.
So, as a specialist for Africa and the Middle East, you cover an enormous geographic and cultural range. So, what draws students from these diverse regions to Perth specifically?
Thank you for the question and thank you for having me again. So I think the diversity on campus really translates, and I think when students come across to Perth in Western Australia, they're joining a multicultural community on our campus. And I know we've spoken about this with other colleagues here today, but we have 130 nationalities on our campus. No nationality exceeds 15% on our campus.
Okay.
So you really get that diversity. But everybody's in the same boat, so everybody's welcoming and warming, and a warm welcome to students when they get there.
Curtin has a very strong reputation in mining engineering and petroleum engineering, which makes sense given Western Australia's resource economy. But with climate change and energy transition, how are these programs evolving?
Absolutely, and I thought that question might come up. So yeah, you're right.
You were prepared.
I was. So we are ranked top 5 in the world for mining engineering. Our petroleum program, and as you have rightly pointed out, we have actually transitioned that into energy engineering.
Okay.
So the program now, whilst petroleum is still going to remain very important across the globe, in terms of that energy transition, we're now looking at how we move with the current climate and with energy transition, so carbon neutral, and looking at the kind of geoenergy and geothermal processes that sit underneath petroleum. So that is certainly something that we're working closely with industry with. Our academics are heavily involved with the mining industry, with the petroleum, to make sure that we adjust with the times.
Curtin has invested heavily in entrepreneurship and innovation. What support exists for students interested in starting businesses, particularly those who might want to create solutions relevant to Africa, Mauritius, or the Middle East?
Fantastic. So we actually have a founders program on campus. So aside from all of the industry experience students get within their degree, whether that's a business degree or from any of our faculties, our innovation centre allows students to harness their business idea. We have academics and CEOs and industry leaders that will really guide students through that blueprint of their business and help them start their startup program whilst they're at university. The beauty with Curtin University is we have 6 campuses across the globe.
Yes, even in Mauritius.
The only Australian university to have a campus in Africa, and it's based right here in Mauritius. And again, students have access to those global campuses. So whether they do a semester or a year at one of our campuses, that transfer across the global campuses is also possible.
I think you said it all, Alexandra. Thank you so much for your time. Aluwasi Areo, I hope I just pronounced your name correctly.
Shay instead of the long one.
Oh, it's not the long one. It's
Yeah,
Shay. You
Shay.
prefer Shay?
Yeah,
okay,
that's okay.
a nickname. That's better. I think I do prefer Shay as
Shay,
well.
yeah, easy
you're
to call.
Exactly. You're from James Cook University, Australia as well.
Yes.
So Shay, you're the country manager for West Africa. Welcome to Interfaces. You have only 2 minutes to answer to my questions
Okay,
today.
that's
So
fine.
say you have over 13 years of experience in international student recruitment and your expertise spans multiple destinations, Australia, Canada, the UK, the US, Ireland, and even Ukraine. So that's an extraordinary breadth. So what made you focus on representing James Cook University today?
I think it's basically about the uniqueness of the destination for me. As against the destination you mentioned that I used to cover, the opportunities available in Australia, the standard of education, and the incentive, the benefit of students studying in Australia is unique, and it has huge return on investment.
And after 13 years in this field, what's the one piece of advice you give to families that they don't usually expect to hear from your uni?
For families, students that are considering studying abroad, the most important thing I feel they should look at is the safety, the safety of the destination they're looking to apply to, then what they stand to gain upon the completion of their study. Of course, yes, Canada is unique, US is unique, but what is the huge return on investment they stand to gain at the completion of their study, which they should consider Australia.
Say, I had many more questions for you today, but unfortunately we don't have much time left, only a few seconds because before I gave back the airtime to my colleague. Voilà, nous arrivons, voilà, on me dit dans l'oreillette, merci beaucoup mes chers invités, nous arrivons au terme de ce marathon de plus de quelques minutes avec des institutions, des propositions pour construire un avenir au VEC. Ça se passe demain, le Education Fair au Flying Dodo à Bagatelle, également vendredi. Voilà, fin de votre émission du jour, il est midi, l'heure de votre journal de la mi-journée avec Pranav Piari.